Connor, you missed kind of some of our pre-conversation, but
I did. I was getting my first meal of the day.
oh my gosh.
That is not good coming from a fitness person.
Yes, you have to
eat prior to 6 p.m.
You hear that? You hear that? Because his wife was trying to like get him downstairs to come eat, and he was just too caught up doing whatever.
I get it.
But it's whatever he was doing was important work, so we can't be too upset there. But you were telling me that you have the bar studio, and then you do something. What's it called? Sweatworks? Sweatnet. That should be so easy to remember, and I can't. But it's Sweatnet. Okay, and those are the two things that you do.
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been doing the bar situation?
We just had our 4-year anniversary in December.
That's nice. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I think, as you're talking, I think I'm actually going to bring the mic down.
You can just tilt it down. Just tilt her mic. Yeah. Nope, not that. The mic itself.
Oh, the mic itself?
Yeah, you can just tilt that.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah. Okay. It's a little better. And I might actually get you just a little closer.
Okay.
Boom. There we go. Okay, so you do the bar studio, which is awesome. Sweatnet. I got it now. Sweatnet.
Got it.
And kids, right?
3 kids.
Twins. She has a set of twins. Twin boys.
Oh, handful.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. So here's the real question, though. Is the dad like, rambunctious, extroverted, introverted?
He's pretty introverted.
Okay.
But they don't introverted.
But the twins right now, they don't have the chill gene yet.
Not at all.
Okay, so they're
not in the least.
They are all over the place.
All over the place. I mean, one of them, they're identical.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
In every sense, identical.
Like
personality, voices, identical.
That's got to be.
But
a little
one
bit
is becoming more of a homebody, which is kind of good.
Okay.
They want to be home instead. My daughter is like, go. Where can we go today? Like after school, she's like, can we go to the mall? It's Wednesday. No, we're not going to the mall.
We can't go to the mall.
Like, no.
So he's becoming
they're becoming homebodies, which is good.
Are you a homebody? That's the question.
I'm becoming more of a homebody for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you feel like it's because you're very busy and so you appreciate when you're able to be home?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. Because I am pretty I'm pretty go while the kids are at school. So I try to do as much as I can while they're in school. That way I can be home.
Well, that makes sense.
And present with them.
Yeah. Well, you want that.
Yeah.
You want to have that good work-life balance.
Right.
And you do, and you do the bar, which I've done it once. Okay, and I'm telling you what. So Connor did not know what bar was until I think Eden was telling him about it, right?
Yeah, because she sent a picture. Or no, she said something about going to go do bar, and I was just like, "You going drinking?"
I feel like she sent me a screenshot of that conversation.
Oh, really?
About what you thought it was, and I can't remember now. But it was,
I think two of us thought ballet.
Yeah,
which makes sense though. Like,
yeah,
I
because
understand.
you have the ballet bar.
Yeah, I get it.
Conditions are kind of mixed in there. We're not dancing
it's ballet
at all,
and
right?
drinking, right?
Bar, hey,
ballet and
bar,
booze.
We do a lot of happy hours, so
no, that's fun. But I feel like though this brings up a good point of what is bar. What is bar?
Yes, so bar you can think isometric weight training.
Okay.
So
great. Let's go with isometric.
Yeah. Teeny tiny moves. You're getting into a
I was gonna ask for the 5-year-old definition because my brain isn't ready.
You're getting into a position and you're moving 1 inch at a time. So you are looking for muscle fatigue. You want to fatigue your muscles to where they start to give out. You find what we call a shake, like your muscles start to shake because you're going into that muscle fatigue.
Okay.
So your teeny tiny moves. We incorporate some full range moves, but for the most part, it's really small movements.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was funny because Eden's our manager, but she really likes bar. So I feel like she goes 4 to 5 times a week. So she wears all your guys' merch and everything.
Love it.
Yes. That's good advertising for you. And so she's like, come with me once, Jordan, come do it with me. And I said, okay. And so the way I work out when I'm healthy enough to is I like to do weight training, so you have tiny weights. Mine are very big. But I wasn't sure what to think of bar because I knew that they had the small weights, and so I was like, okay, like, will it be hard? Will it not be hard? And so I think bar 50 is what I did. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. It's not anything that I would look down upon. Not that I looked down on it before, right? But I just didn't know what it was.
But when you don't know what it is.
And when you see tiny weights, you're like, and you're used to going to the gym and you're picking up like 40-pound weights or something like that looks small. And you're like, will this actually do anything
Which is
for
the
me?
really fun part when you get a new person who maybe goes to like another gym, who does like heavy weights.
Right.
And they come in and they're like, you want me to use 3-pound hand weights?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I do. Just hold that thought.
Yeah.
And then our warm up alone is 10 minutes long.
Oh,
and
that killed me.
So
that killed me.
We get to, if you have like a couple people who have that like initial thought and like they say it out loud, like, really 3 pounds? You get like halfway through the warm up or close, and then you're like, we're almost done with the warm up, and you see them go,
oh my gosh.
this is just the warm up?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
No, it's very hard, and I think I don't know all the things about fitness. I really don't. And that's something that we can kind of get into, is all the different fitness information that's out there. And not that you know everything about it either, but just share opinions. But I feel like, at least with what bar did, is it worked different muscles I hadn't worked before.
Right.
So I feel like, I don't know I'm saying this in a really elementary way, but I can work like the big muscles.
Right.
And with the bar,
those accessory
be quiet,
muscles.
Cotter, because I have tiny muscles. They're teeny tiny, but I have even teeny tinier muscles. That I felt like with the bar, that was different and very hard, very challenging. Yeah. So I liked it overall. Connor, you should try it sometime.
I'm good.
Okay.
We'll have a boys at the bar event. You can come.
Boys at the bar. I like
boys at the bar.
No,
it's
that's
great.
that's a good like Valentine's Day.
Oh, we do. We do it.
Oh, you guys have already thought of it.
Oh,
See,
we sure
you don't even need me for this.
It's
but
great. It's fun to get the guys in there, because we'll have them. Everybody has to fill out like a waiver before they come, and the men have to do it too. And you see them put like, I do CrossFit 5 days a week, and they write down like all the stuff that they're doing. And I'll give them like a 5-pound hand weight instead of 3s, and or you like
see how long they can keep
barely hold them up, or you get into the work and they can barely lift their leg off the ground. It's great.
You just enjoy watching it, don't you?
I do. It humbles you really fast, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and even somebody who does it, I've been teaching it for 4.5 years now, over 4.5 years that I've been certified, and it's still hard. Like, it doesn't get easier. You get stronger.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever get easier.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I mean, how did you get into it? Like, how did this happen? Like, fitness, bar, how did that happen?
So I feel like I was active my whole life. Like, I grew up playing sports, like as far back as I can remember, back in the day where you could play like all the sports. Every season had a different sport. Like, you played basketball in the winter, you played softball in the spring, like you got to do all the things. So I did that my whole childhood, and then got into middle school, played basketball. I was on like a AAU traveling basketball team. And then when I got into high school, I stopped growing. The rest of the girls kept growing, and basketball was not as fun because they towered over me and they were really big. And I was like, this is not for me anymore. I'm out. Became a cheerleader, became a competitive cheerleader, and did that throughout high school. So I just always was really active, and stayed active throughout college. Didn't do any sports in college, but continued to be active. And then once I had kids, obviously having kids changes your body, and
I have heard that
not everybody snaps back, as the internet
I've
likes to show.
I've always been very curious about the idea of women snapping back.
Yeah, I mean, some people do. Like, I have friends who can pop out a baby and look like they never did. That was not me.
Really?
That was not me. That just, it wasn't. So, but after I had them, wanted to be active, wanted to be healthy for them. And tried some places that, were heavy weights and like boot camp style places. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're great workouts. But my husband works in the orthopedic world. So he is very cautious on, let's preserve your body.
Oh, that's a fair thing.
Let's not go so hard that 15 years from now,
your body,
you're paying for it.
Okay,
yeah.
But that's a great point, is because I know all these people who do CrossFit, and awesome, great, But I tell you what, they have like, you know, tons of knee braces on. Like they're destroying their body, and it hurts because you can tell they're very strong, very strong people. For sure. But I get concerned where I'm like, okay, I was like, dude, you know, you're 50 years old, like you're 50 years old, like it's time to find a way to be tough and gentle too. Right. And so I feel sad where I see their knees going out and their body kind of breaking down, and that kind of concerns me a little bit. Right. And that's just me though. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, and everybody finds what they love, and I think the CrossFit community, like they have a great following, and they have an awesome community, and they rally together. And I think Charlotte as a whole, and probably other cities too, like fitness communities truly do rally together, and each style, each different brand or franchise, whatever, like they have their communities, and it's great. And, you know, CrossFit, different boot camps, like they're all the same, like they have great communities, but you know, to each their own. And I've tried it and I've been injured, and
so that kind of made you think, you know, maybe I shouldn't.
Right. So discovered bar, and it's low impact, but really effective. So you can work those teeny tiny muscles, incorporate some full range moves. So you're getting the bigger muscles, but you're not hard on your joints, which is what made me love it.
Yeah. So this might sound like a really weird question, but like, can you get like pretty jacked doing bar or?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I could totally show you like my before and after pictures of just doing bar. Maybe some like running on the side.
Are they on the internet, or do you have them?
For sure. I have them on my Instagram.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could probably pull that up actually.
Yeah, like, probably pull it up.
I mean, and because it truly, it can change your body. Like we don't have to lift super heavy weights or do cardio, you know, for 3 hours a day to get those results.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that I think is the balance, where when it comes to fitness as a whole, so not necessarily looking at, you know, CrossFit or bar or anything like that, but I think sometimes as a fitness community as a whole, at least for women, I can't speak for men, is that they kind of push themselves really hard and they get really good results, but it's almost like the lifestyle itself is pretty unattainable, where it's like you have to like, you got to be like crushing it. You need to be in some sort of, you know, calorie deficit. Whether or not that calorie deficit is healthy, we don't really know, because social media doesn't tell us the whole story of what's going on. And so with something like bar, I wonder, okay, is it lifestyle effective as well as getting good results without hurting yourself mentally? In more of, I guess I worry about more like the eating disorder situation. And obviously I know there's plenty of forms of fitness that can't stop that completely. Like some of that is up to the person. Right. But you know what I'm saying in that regard?
Yeah. And I'm thankful that the community we have and what we've built inside our studio is we try to look at every area of it. Like we want to provide you a really good workout, and we do have different formats. We have just a regular bar class, which is going to be like your toning, strengthening, toning, low impact class. We have a 50-minute version. We have a 30-minute version. We also have a bar hit class that gives the option for like jumping and getting your cardio in. But we also have people who come and don't jump. You can just do faster moves to get your heart rate up, so you're getting the cardio. And then last year we introduced a strength-based class using heavier weights.
Okay, I think that's what Eden was talking about.
By heavy, I mean going, like in our studio we have up to 15-pound hand weights. But for us, that's a pretty heavy hand weight when you're used to 3 pounds. So we're able to incorporate different formats, but we also are really big on it's not just physical when you come in. Like we don't talk a ton about nutrition because you have to be very careful, because we're not certified. We're not licensed. So we don't want to give that information or try to push that out when we're not.
That's wise. That's wise.
We're not set up to do that.
Right.
But we can try to push, you know, healthy eating habits. Let's drink our water kind of thing. But then also let's talk about the mental side of it too, the mental, emotional, spiritual side. Like make it bring it full circle, so that we can try to step away from whatever bad habits might be there. Because I've been there too. Like even when I started the studio, I think I probably mentally I know that I was in a totally different place mentally than I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How would you, and again, you have to decide, what you're comfortable talking about, but how did you get from a point where you kind of said there, I was in a bad place with my fitness to now I'm better? What exactly happened there? What do you think contributed to it?
So when I first opened the studio, and this kind of like we have briefly discussed prior to like recording, in the fitness world, in the fitness industry, in the beauty industry alone, for years and years and years, there's just unrealistic standards for women on how we should look, whether it's how skinny you should be, how big your boobs should be, whatever it is. It's a lot of just unrealistic standards that start from a really young age. My daughter's 11, and, she's already, making little comments and seeing little things. Like, it starts so young. And I think a lot growing up, like, I would compare myself to other people. Like, I don't look like them. Like, she kept growing. She's taller. I'm short. Like, I'm chubby compared to my friend. It just starts so young. And so when I decided to open the studio, I totally had it in my head that I need to look a certain way in order for people to want to come and work out here. And that's so backwards. Like, it's so backwards. That's not the case. But I thought that that's what would make people want to come and do this workout. If they saw I had results and looked a certain way physically, then they would want to come and work out, which is, it's just so backwards. So that was 2018 when we opened. Long story short, 2019, my stepdad passed unexpectedly. It was traumatic, but in part of my like grief journey with that, even though I owned a studio, I literally became like addicted to exercise. Like outside of my teaching schedule, if I was at home, I had a Peloton, I had the bike, and I would come home and I'd get on the bike and I would do the bike for like an hour.
Wow.
Or then I'm doing like strength stuff on the floor after that. And I would like channel my grief through working out. And it took until probably sometime late 2020 or early 2021, I had somebody look at me and we were talking about it, like talking about the Apple Watch, like, oh, I get at least 300 minutes of exercise per day. Don't ever do that.
Wow.
That's so, but like, that's where I channeled my grief. And I had someone that was like, that's exercise bulimia. You are literally like, you're addicted. And that's just where, in that moment, I was like, okay.
Someone called you out.
Someone called me out, and like, not even like in a bad way. It was just like a total casual conversation. He probably does not even have the slightest clue that it like shifted that. It was that
it's a good thing.
It was a good thing. Like it shifted that light bulb just went off in my brain. But then from that moment on, it was like, okay, I need to shift my mindset completely. Like, it's not about how much I work out in a day. It's not about what the scale says. It's not about, how jacked I look or whatever. It's do I feel good? Do I feel good? Am I eating well? And do I feel good?
Yeah. No, those things matter. I think for women that are, like you kind of said, you're supposed to be this type of body type. It kind of changes too, depending on the trend of the season.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, for most women, you have a different body type. And so you might want to look like X woman that you see, but at the end of the day, like, her structure might be different. Her metabolism is going to be different. It's just not going to be the same.
Yeah.
And this too, because you've had children, is that every woman's body, it never stays the same. Like, I feel like, at least I don't even have kids, but like, I've watched my body just change, and it just depends on like what season you're in, what's happening. And you can even be exercising and doing all the right things, but your body's just going to change.
Right.
And so that's a very interesting thing to hear. I mean, also you have that daughter too, she's 11 years old. Yep. And then you're like, well, what kind of example am I setting for my daughter too? And thankfully, she's young enough where, you can start, instilling those awesome habits into her of like being healthy, but not, completely obsessed with it. Right. But yeah, I think that's an interesting, with grief, how that kind of plays in of exercising.
Yeah.
It's so different.
It is. I mean, I guess it could have been worse,
It could have been.
Exercise to deal with it. But at the same time, like, what I was doing was just, one, not attainable. Like, you want to find a fitness routine that is attainable long term or sustainable long term.
Yeah.
And that's not like, it's not like we don't need to work out for 2 hours a day. If you can get to the gym and work out for 30 minutes, you moved your body for 30 minutes. If you can make it to an hour long class, great. You worked out for an hour. We don't need to be on the treadmill or on a bike doing, endless cardio for 2 hours a day or, 1,000 crunches a day.
Did you have fatigue? Did you feel fatigued when you were working out for a couple
for sure.
hours? Okay.
Oh, for sure.
I was just curious because I don't know, sometimes like you're in it so much and like you maybe have all that adrenaline and you just don't really think about it and it's like natural.
Yeah. I mean, I think that time, because it all happened like during 2020 when
there was nothing else to do.
There was nothing else to do anyways. I'm a studio owner and the state has shut us down and I can't even step foot inside my own studio. I'm having to live stream from my living room. And it was kind of the perfect storm of just all the things that I just channeled everything into that. But I mean, even it's not sustainable. And I'm very glad that this person just said those words so casually. He said it so casually, but it completely changed everything for me.
For sure. And okay, I want to get your opinion on this, okay? Because Connor and I, we were recording yesterday, and we were talking about social media, specifically short form content, but we're talking about social media. And I was basically saying, I think women have a tendency to, comparison-wise, go for the body. Like, that's their thing.
Right.
That doesn't, I can hear some of the feminists and even non-feminists being like, no, Jordan, I compare career too. I get it, but it's mostly... Right. It's mostly body.
Yes.
And then for men, I'm trying to remember the conversation correctly, Connor, but it was more career-wise. But even with career, you more have saw it like as an aspiration, supposed to like jealousy, right? Mm-hmm. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it.
Okay. And so with the fitness industry, the thing that I was getting really concerned about, where I was like, okay, being healthy is good, right? Just as we've talked about, being healthy is good. But we see social media, and there's like all the different ways that you can compare in your experience, in your own experience in your life, but also just working with all these wonderful women. Do you feel like social media plays a role in that? And do you feel like you have to like kind of reorient their mind and be like, yo, hey, I know you see this fitness person, this influencer, but you gotta look away. I know I'm kind of asking a leading question, so you're allowed to be like, no, Jordan, that's not what's happening.
No. I think you're spot on. You're spot on because it happens. And even with me personally, like there are days that I get on and, and however Instagram's algorithms are, you look at one post and then the next day there's 10 of them. Mm-hmm. And then before you know it, that's all that you're seeing. Right. So because I do a lot of fitness stuff, I do follow a lot of other trainers, and there's a lot of incredible ones, especially in the Charlotte community. There's a ton of amazing people who are doing awesome things, and I'm really glad to see in our community the shift in how fitness is being presented. But going back to social media, like you do see a lot of things that are not real. Mm. And so what you're comparing yourself to what you see, it's
not even real.
It's not even real. It's not. And kind of like you said, like I'm 5'2". This girl I'm looking at is 5'10", and our body types are so different. So I can look at her and be like, gosh, I wish I looked like that. I need to do this workout she's doing. I'm not going to get the same results regardless because our body types are so different. Mm-hmm. And what works for her is not going to work for me.
Right. And I think it's so easy. It's easy to say. And I think the reason why doing these kind of fitness communities is really good is because you have that verbal reinforcement. Like if you're working out alone, which I do. I don't like, I should maybe have a fitness community. Maybe that'd be a good idea depending on the community. Maybe I should work out with more people, but I think all you really have, your motivation is like what you see on social media and yourself. Right. And so if you're motivating yourself through social media, then you have a higher chance of building some very unhealthy habits and ways of thinking. But if you're working out and yes, you still have the social media influencing you, wish that wasn't the case, but you do, but you have a community of women and you have a staff that understands the goal and still you can use some positive reinforcement to kind of combat that negative side that happens.
For sure. And I think it's just, I'm really glad of, how I've been able to shift, because my mindset has totally changed on, it's not what I physically look like. It's not the number that's on the scale that shows how healthy I am, or, whatever I'm, may have in the back of my head. Like, none of that that's not the most important. Like, do I feel good? Do I feel good? Like, am I fueling my body properly? And am I moving my body every day? And how do I feel? And it's physical, it's mental, and we try to push that to our community for sure. We call, inside of our studio, we have kind of labeled ourselves, we're a girl gang. It's our girl gang.
Do you want to be part of the girl gang?
You can be a part of our girl gang.
I'm happy at the climbing gym.
That's okay. But I mean, if you walk into our studio, you've got people from 15 years old to in their 60s. You've got people who are coming in and who have never worked out before. You've got people who are like college athletes. You've got people all over the board, different, you've got my best friend who's our yoga instructor, who is almost 6 feet tall, supermodel legs. I'm over here 5'2". Don't have supermodel legs, but you come in and no matter where you're at, you're going to see somebody that's real, that you can relate to. And you're not just seeing a picture on Instagram. You're going to see our Instagram. You're going to see our members.
No stock photos.
No, you're going to see our people. You're going to see our people. And everybody is just so real. And we're all in, like, I'm very thankful. Like, we all have our struggles. We're not going to pretend we don't have our struggles and that we have it all together. Like, we are constantly building each other up. But when you have a community, like I feel like we do, we can constantly build each other up on, we're moving our bodies and we're being healthy, but we're looking at it full circle. We're not just coming in here to try to achieve some physical result.
Right. And that's good. Connor, you got anything?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask for the Instagram page so that I can try pulling that up. And also, Jordan might need you to log in so that we have our own page, because I don't want to do it with my personal.
My personal Instagram
you should be able to look.
Whichever one you said you had before after pictures, but then it'd also be good to get the studio ones as well.
You should be able to look it up, like, without logging in.
I should, but it'll only let me scroll through so many photos.
So my personal Instagram is X0X0_Sam. That's me, that first one. And it's public, so if you go down like a good bit, there is I put my before and after, and like I will preface this, but I even say, like, in my before picture, like, there's nothing wrong with my before picture by any means. It's just when I decided to do fitness as like my career, and put my total focus into that, how it.
Yep. See, I knew it was going to happen on browser.
Yeah.
You've got our login though.
Yeah, you need to give me the keyboard though. I'm not gonna say the password out loud.
No, and I'm gonna switch off of the browser view, so it's back to camera view.
You keep talking though. I'll do this.
Although if you have any numbers involved, let me know.
Okay, did I spell that right?
There's an extra T.
Okay, so my eyesight's not good enough to do that.
Back up one more.
Connor, stop this. Stop this madness. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. You can continue.
Okay, I think I can get it. Hang on. Okay, wrong password. I feel like this is a good time for us to have, like, the do-do-do.
Yeah, I'm going to need your logins for all the social media now so that I can have them preloaded.
I didn't know that you wanted to log in. If I had known, I would have done something. But hang on, I'm gonna try one more.
It hates you.
I can't do it. But we believe you. I'm gonna try. Hang on, I have to try one more time. We need that part in the edit where it's like 3 hours later.
Yeah, we'll probably cut that out.
Right
around the 29-minute mark.
Well, I'm not going to try anymore because it's too hard.
I'm going to get locked out.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. I got to try. I can't do this. Hang on. I got to try one more time. Thanks, Jordan. What was the password? Okay, I'm going to make sure I did everything right.
This is why I don't auto save things on my browsers, because you'll never remember when you're on something else.
Are you sure I spelled Resident Skeptics right?
Yes.
Gotta try one more. We are definitely going to cut this out, but we have to tell Leo to cut this out. Be like, Jordan's going to randomly start putting in passwords. Hang on. Okay, this is the next one I'm going to try. Wait. Okay, I'm done. That's it. I tried.
All right, give it back.
I tried. I feel kind of sad now that I can't get in.
Well, we can still get to quite a few of the photos.
Yeah, but it's not. It's
and
not what
do you
we
have
wanted.
one for the bar as well?
The bar studio is Neighborhood Bar Concord.
So I think it's actually in her bio there. So
Oh, yeah, it should be.
yeah, so you don't have to. We don't have to worry about that. We are gonna cut that out. No one needs to listen to that. No one needs to see me fail that badly.
Okay, so we are taking a look over here at the browser. So these are some of the photos from your studio then?
Yes. Yep. Everything that's on our page is going to be people in our studio. We very rarely will use a picture that's just like provided by corporate.
Gotcha.
We try to only use pictures of our people,
Yeah,
whether
that's
it's our
good.
instructors or our members.
And that does make a difference, though, because I feel like sometimes you look on social media and you're like, man, this picture's a little too perfect. I wonder
Yeah.
if this is actually from that area.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That can be an issue. No, I've been there before. It's a nice little studio. It feels
Okay.
doesn't feel, I don't feel like it's too overwhelming.
Oh, good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not big. you
Yeah.
know? It's got a good feel to it.
Good.
So, Connor will never know because I think this is a woman thing. I'm gonna assume.
It is. Yes. We
Okay.
did have a lady bring her husband yesterday. He was off work and just came with her.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you occasionally have that. You'll have
Okay.
guys who, and it's usually like a spouse.
right.
who will
But it wouldn't
come.
be like if a random guy like.
That's only
walked
happened
in.
like once.
Okay.
That's a little awkward.
Yeah.
That makes people a little uncomfortable. Like if it's a spouse, it's fine.
It's
if
totally
it's just
cool.
a guy walking in and be like, I want to take class,
It's a little.
it's a
weird.
little weird.
Yeah,
It's
a little bit
uncomfortable.
odd.
He wants to be in
Yeah.
the back of the room
Yeah.
where he can see everyone. Okay. I got it.
Make sure he's in the front.
Yes. Okay, but this has been interesting. But I know there's another thing that we kind of wanted to talk about, which was a topic that's been going around a little bit. It's been happening. Breast implants.
Yes.
The removal of them has been a thing. How about you just tell us a little bit about your experience with that?
Yeah. So you can definitely see I've done some posts. There you go. There's
Guessing
my.
this one right here?
Yep.
Of course, Instagram won't let us get closer. All right.
They look like little bags. Are they?
Basically.
Wait, have you not seen them before, Jordan?
Okay, so I'm going to be very honest. The only ones I've seen is like when they're like shriveled up and like gross and they have
Yeah.
like the mold on them. Like, were those
Yeah.
like yours?
Those are mine. Those came out of my body.
Those like
Yep.
those little bags.
Yep. So going back to, young, feeling like, you need to look a certain way. I was not born with big boobs.
I understand this very much so.
Most of the women in my family were. But then it was after I had my daughter, your body changes. I, nursed her and they don't look the same after that. And so talked to my husband about it. And my husband is such a saint, like could have cared less. But he, again, saint, will support any little thing I want, no matter how crazy it is. And, I wanted to feel like me in my skin again, and I wanted to feel attractive in my skin, and I didn't feel that way. So I got them done in 2013. Fast forward to 2020, found out that they were recalled.
Yes.
Breast
Nope.
implants
That
can
be
be
done.
recalled, which should have been the red flag. Like,
It's like we're calling a car part, but it's like in your body.
But it's in your body. It should be a red flag. So instead of like just having them taken out, I opted to just swap them out for basically an upgrade. I started with a saline implant, and then I upgraded to a silicone. The kind that I had was called a memory gel. I had them done in 2021, April of 2021. And within about a week, started noticing differences, like a difference in my body. Like I did not feel right. I had new food allergies pop up like immediately. Apples. I love apples. Could no longer eat apples. Like on the ground, you're going to have to take me to the ER type of situation. Joint pain, inflammation in my body. It happened really fast. In July, I went back and saw my surgeon, and I think I had sent an email and was like, I need to get in faster. Like something's not right. Like it was causing, like I had a couple panic attacks or like anxiety attacks. Cause I was like, something's not right. Like get them out of my body. And you can't obviously just
take them
no,
out.
You can't.
Right.
But I went and saw my surgeon, told him what I was experiencing, what I was feeling. And it was totally brushed off. Like breast implant illness is not, I had done my research a little bit. Breast implant illness. He was like, it's not real. There's no way to diagnose it. Like, go have some blood work done. You probably have like an underlying autoimmune disease that could probably be treated. So go have some blood work done. Was totally pushed off. And I was like, I know that's not it. I know that's not it. My husband's like, just have some blood work done. Like, just have the blood work done to see what it says. So I eventually did. I waited several months and came back. I was dehydrated. It was the only thing that came back in my blood work was that I was dehydrated.
Oh, interesting.
Which, not surprised one bit. I don't like to drink water. If I'm thirsty, I'll make coffee. It's a fault, but it's fine. So I was dehydrated and kept doing my research. By this point, my hair was falling out. I had gained between 8 and 10 pounds, even though I own a fitness studio. Like my workout routine hasn't changed. My eating hadn't changed, but I'm gaining weight. My joint pain was kind of out of control and it was in my feet. And I'm on my feet. Our studio, we're barefoot the majority of the time. So being on my toes, everything hurt all the time. And so did my research, waited as long as I could. It was about 1.5 years that I was like, all right, I've got to do something about this. So back in October, I finally started calling around, joined a couple different Facebook groups for women who had experienced the same thing, and truly believe that breast implant illness is real. There's a lot of women who experience just so many symptoms. It's basically an autoimmune response is what happens. Your body's just attacking this foreign object in your body. But started researching doctors, found a surgeon in Charleston who was highly recommended, highly sought after. Did my consultation, and being in the fitness industry, I know that January is usually your big rush. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it November-ish so that I have plenty of time to recover and be good to go before our January rush. So saw a surgeon, had my consultation in October and scheduled my surgery for November. And so I had my implants removed back in November. And
Wow.
Yeah, it was not fun. It is quite the process to have them out. It's not when you get them, it's literally you just go and you get implants. But to have them taken out, it costs a lot more. It costs almost double to have them taken out than it does put in.
Wow.
Your recovery time is much more, kind of depending on when you get implants. You can have them over the muscle or under the muscle. Mine were under the muscle, which can be worse when you take them out because that muscle has stretched. So I have muscle repair, which makes your recovery a little bit longer.
What was your reason for going under the muscle initially?
They just say it was better aesthetically because implants will ripple and could show. What doesn't matter, but they talk you into that, and so it just, I guess, makes it look more natural if it's under the muscle, I guess.
Which it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't know, because you're putting it underneath so it hides.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So the person who initially did the surgery, he was not willing to even take them out.
He said, he was like, I'll take them out. He's like, but you're not gonna like how you look. It was very off-putting. I never went back after that. I never went and saw him again. Because he was just like, you wouldn't have anything. Like, you're going to hate your body. You're going to hate how you look.
Wait, hang on. No, I don't understand.
It's pretty unfortunate. I mean,
That's
and
horrid.
there are
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh.
of plastic surgeons who don't believe in it, which is where when you are looking for explant, you find a surgeon who believes in breast implant illness, who believes that your implants can cause problems in your body.
What really gets me, and I don't know this surgeon. I'm only just speculating, but it just seems incredibly like very greedy. I think because if you believe in breast implant illness, which it's not a far stretch. Like, you're putting a foreign object in your body,
Right.
and so. I'm no doctor, okay? Just like the leftists aren't biologists, all right? But, the body's like, attack, because there's like something else that's
Absolutely.
in there. And so for the person to the doctor to kind of brush it off, there's an ulterior motive there where if you actually believe that could be a thing, then your practice can kind of fall apart to a certain extent.
And the surgeon I found like still puts implants, like he still does implants. Like, let's be real, like, they're making millions a year putting implants in women. But at the same time, explant there are hundreds of women every day getting them out now. So the surgeon I found, like, he still puts implants in, but he also believed in breast implant illness. Like, he took the time to like listen to what I had to say, how I was feeling. And, he was like, well, maybe you go back to the implant you had before because you didn't have issues. Like, that's an option.
I was actually wondering.
I was about to ask because I know there's 2 or 3 different kinds that I'm aware of.
Right.
You mentioned saline and silicone. I want to say there's another one, but I might be wrong about that.
So, I mean, what I had was called a memory gel. It's still all basically silicone. And even if you have saline, the shell that the saline is in, it's a silicone shell.
Right.
So the thing is with breast implant illness, sometimes it shows up right away. Sometimes it will take 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
But the thing is that an implant has a shelf life of only 10 years. You're supposed to have them replaced every 10 years anyways. And a lot of women don't. That's more money. Like, you're going under the knife. You're having to be put under. It's, $7-8 grand to do that. Like, you get it once and you think, okay, I'm good to go. And that's what majority of women probably do.
Yeah.
And so they hit like 20-year mark. And then all of a sudden, like, for the past 5 to 10 years, they're having all these health issues. And then finally somebody's like, okay, well, your implants are 20 years old. Did you ever think that maybe like all of this could be related? And it's sad that they've lost 5 to 10 years of their life being sick, not knowing that this was the cause. Like,
Do you think that surgeons do a good job at letting them know?
absolutely not.
Really? Okay, so like they
No.
don't tell them like, hey, these implants look great. They're only gonna last you about 10 years. So
Absolutely not.
you don't think so?
No.
And like your surgeon
So
didn't ever.
no. I mean, and they give you a packet that's, 45 pages long with, teeny tiny fine print that you're having to sign every page. But let's be real. Like,
It wasn't part of the discussion.
I'm not sitting and reading 45 pages, and no, it's not part of the discussion. Now, in like, I want to say it was between 2019 and 2021, like the FDA did come out and put a black box warning on implants. So that's there now to let women know.
Between which years?
It's between 2019 and 2021.
Okay, because I know that it started.
I've written all about it.
I started getting a lot of videos coming across my feed from 1 or 2 particular channels, and the surgeon was going over. I think it's more of an immediate reaction to breast implants from what I saw, but when they calcify and they get that hard shell around them.
Capsular contracture.
Yes, that one.
Yep.
What
so
is
when you
what
get
is
the
that?
when you get the implant,
Sorry, what is this?
When you get breast implants, your body forms a capsule around it. It's basically scar tissue. And it can so regardless of whether you have issues or not, your body is always going to form that shell around it.
Okay. And so it's doing it around.
It will encase the implant.
Okay, so if you're a surgeon, you have to get that out.
Not finding any.
Yes, so you have to, when you get them out, like you want, so this is the important part with, you can see in that picture that you're on right there, Yep, that.
Yeah, just trying to. I gotta try and make sure I don't get everything else.
Well, just click on it though. If you click on it, then we won't have to worry about the rest of the images.
No, then it takes you to a web page, and now I gotta find it.
Oh no, I
Which
lied
of course
to
it's
you.
not in here.
It's okay. Just go back. It'll be okay. We can handle a little bit of boob. It'll be all right.
See.
But that's so. Is that
So that red piece, like, so if you click on any of those, like, you see the implant, and then underneath it is there's like that red piece. So that second picture, if you go to the top row, the second picture.
Right here?
Yep. So that the top is the implant.
Mm-hmm.
That what looks like skin, that is the capsule that was encasing the implant inside of the body. So what happens, regardless of saline or silicone, is it leaks into your body. Regardless, the silicone. So you are
the silicone.
The silicone. You basically
in your body.
You basically have silicone poisoning. I mean, they're very toxic, and you know sometimes they rupture. They can rupture, and you don't know.
And so, this picture I'm looking at, at the top there. Those are the implants.
Yeah, those are the implants.
And so when they do the surgery, they're taking out that capsule as well.
When you have an explant, you want a surgeon who will absolutely take that capsule out. You have to, because if you don't, and they leave that capsule in there, that capsule has absorbed that silicone,
and you'll still be sick,
and you will not get better because it's left in your body and it's still getting into your bloodstream, and it's just going into your body. So you need what they call it en bloc, and what you want to do is get the implant out with the capsule, and then what can make your recovery so much harder is that scar tissue can adhere to your chest wall and to your lungs. And so they could have to scrape. I mean, it's crazy what these do to your body that you just don't know.
Wow. Well, no wonder there's breast implant illness. It's not
stuff that you know.
Listen,
you don't know until you go through it.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when I started going through it, my husband, very quiet, very private. But I was like, I didn't know about this. So I'm going to talk about it because there's got to be other women out there who are probably feeling the same and have no clue. So I was like, I'm going to be an open book. It's weird. It's
we appreciate it.
My mother-in-law probably knows now that I had fake boobs, which is really awkward because that's obviously not a conversation you ever have. But when I put this out there, I'm like, my dad didn't know, but then now my dad knows, and he was like, I had no idea. And I was like, I know. I don't talk to you about.
I don't talk to you about my fake boobs.
Talk to you about that.
It's so weird.
It's weird, but you want that awareness needs to be there. The information needs to be out there.
Right.
For women.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think I don't want there to be an awkwardness around it, because I know sometimes when it comes to things that have to do with more sexual body parts, it doesn't have to be that sexual. It really is just a matter of, okay, what is this doing to the body?
Right.
And obviously those pictures were not super cute. It wasn't that great.
Right.
It looked pretty nasty.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to just these unrealistic beauty standards, because I think as a kid, my mom watching TV and like Baywatch being big, like you see Pamela Anderson and she's got these huge boobs, and as a little girl you're like, that's what you see on TV, that's what I'm supposed to look like. And I think that was just ingrained in my head, not to any fault of my parents or like my mom for having that on TV. It's just what was on TV back then, and that's like an image that I got in my head, and I wanted to look like that. And it comes to a point where, again, like that light bulb moment goes off in your head, and unfortunately it took me 36 years to get there, but
better late than never.
So much more important to be healthy than to feel like you need to do all this stuff to your body. Like, we are made, I mean, again, like, no secret, like, I'm a believer. I am made in the image of God, and my body is perfect how it was. So like when I announced I was doing this, like, I'm going back to Sam 1.0. I'm going back to how God made me, because she was perfect to begin with. Yeah. She was already perfect. And that's like where it kind of opened up conversation with my daughter, to be like, this is what I did. I'm not proud of it. I wanted to feel good in my skin. And unfortunately, like, it made me sick. I didn't feel good. And I'm choosing to get them out. And, I'm thankful that, I can now fully soak in like who I am in Christ, and not who I feel like the world wants me to be.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you said that pretty well. And it's so funny because you were talking about as a kid, you see, Baywatch or something like that. For me, it was like Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
We watched Dancing with the Stars. And
I hate
funny.
that show so
Okay,
much.
so funny story. Okay, I have a funny story, though, about Dancing with the Stars. Okay, so I'd watch it when I was younger. My mom loved to watch the dancing, so I'd watch it. And you know how they wear, very...
Teeny tiny outfits.
Yeah, yeah. And... one day, there's this dancer and he's not wearing a shirt and I'm truly perplexed. I said, Mom, why is he not wearing a shirt? And she says, Jordan, he can't afford one. He can't afford a shirt. And I felt so bad. I was like, wow, this poor guy is trying to make a living on this show. He can't even afford a shirt. And then I realized about a decade later, I was driving. Now this was in Michigan. I live in North Carolina. I'm driving down. My mom and I are driving down the street. I said, Mom, you lied about this. You lied. You lied. But anyway, I digress though. But for us, it was like Dancing with the Stars, right? And so, I was like, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yep. Okay,
well, guess what? And this is the point I was trying to make in our last episode. So go watch it. I'm just going to plug it right now. But I was basically saying, like, these girls, we don't just have that one image of Baywatch. It's hundreds,
right?
Thousands of images, not just of boobs, all right? It's your butt. It's your stomach. It's your cheeks. It's your eyes. It's your hair. It's everything. Right. Like, that is incredibly overwhelming.
Right.
And so they're making a bunch of changes to their bodies. It's not just breast implants.
Right.
It goes way, way farther than that at that point. So that scares me. So it's good. It's good that you're talking about this. It's good that you're being open about it because I'm very curious about it and I understand how you can fall into it. Right. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Something I was talking to someone too that, she knew someone that was getting them out, and it was the same deal where they looked good, they were good for the fitness competition or whatever, you know, but weren't very practical in the long run.
Right.
But anyway, tell us when you got them out, you wake up, how'd you feel?
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. It was way worse. Well, when I woke up, it was awful. Like it was much more painful than I expected. I will say within a week, within days, joint pain gone. Haven't experienced it at all since I got them out. Not once. Within a couple days, just straight up gone. I haven't been super brave enough to like test out foods yet. Like I did have like apple pie.
I was about to ask, have you gotten to have apples again?
But they were like skin peeled off and cooked, and it was fine. I'm a little too scared.
Sure.
I'm not brave enough to try like just eating an apple yet. But I mean, almost every symptom like just gone. Like my sleep is so much better. Like it's so crazy to say this, and I literally like cried before I had surgery that I was like, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is like taking a deep breath. Because when was the last time that I was able to like for real take a deep breath? Like when I had them out and they give them back to you. Like in North Carolina, my surgeon was in South Carolina. I live in North Carolina. In North Carolina, they take them and I think they like ship them off back to the manufacturer or something. In South Carolina, they give them back to you. Not that, so they're literally
That's
just in a bag in my closet
now.
It's weird. But like got them, they weighed over 3 pounds. I'm only 5'2". Like they were way too big for my body. Like they were way too big for my body. Like even the surgeon who took them out was like, these are way too big. Like no wonder you're hurting. Like they're stretching your muscle. Like they were just way too big. But 3 pounds sitting on my chest. So like now
3 pounds each or 3 total. Okay.
But so like just to take a deep breath now, like it's crazy.
You feel so much better.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's been night and day. Like I can't say it's not a struggle because it is a night and day difference in my body. And it kind of like, I have to, and that's the real thing about, being in the fitness industry and being open about your struggles. Like I am, just because I own a fitness studio and I'm a fitness instructor, I'm not perfect. Like I have my struggles just like everybody else, and I'm going to be completely open so that we can all like truly relate. And like I was very open with all of my members about this, and I've been very open about my struggles post explant. Like it's not easy. Like my body is night and day. So it is something that I have to work on. But again, I have an 11-year-old daughter. who is watching my every move and listening to every single thing I say. So if I talk negatively about myself, she's going to repeat that. She's going to start to think that about herself. Yeah. So it's not been easy, but it's kind of been cool to watch myself grow.
Yeah.
In all those different areas, to know that it's not, my appearance is not what's most important.
Yeah.
That's not the most important thing about me by any means. Yeah. Not even near the top.
Right. I had something I was going to say and completely forgot about it.
I was babbling.
No, it was good. And I had thoughts and then they ran away from me. But I'm glad that you're talking about it. And how long have you been without the implants?
Just a little over 2 months.
Okay.
So it's still pretty
you said November, right?
November 9th. Yep.
So
just hit that 2 month mark.
Physically wise, are you able to work out? Like, what does that look like?
So I actually go tomorrow for my 2 month post-op appointment. So I'm not fully released yet. I'm basically doing everything. Like, I feel really good and I'm trying all of the things. Obviously with the muscle repair, I'm not pushing myself to where, like, if something hurts, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to mess anything up. Like, I want my muscles to heal, but, our bodies are amazing. And I think, full circle, like, I fuel my body properly. I'm trying to take the right vitamins and the right supplements, to where I'm getting all the right nutrients.
Were you taking supplements before, or?
Yeah, I do like the Persona vitamins, to where, like, you do the little quiz and it's like, hey, Sam, on every packet, and like it's all what you need. But I mean, I tried to take care of my body. So, like, our bodies are amazing and how fast they heal. Like, I mean, the first week was horrific. Like, I won't even pretend that, like,
I think I was following your journey on Resident Skeptics on our Instagram. Like, either it was me seeing your story or it was our manager. And I was like watching you chronicle it. I'm like, oh, yeah, this sucks.
And I did. Like, every single day I was giving updates. Like, that first day, I think I made the mistake of telling, like, the nurse and the surgeon the morning of, I was like, I don't want to take any of the hard stuff. Like, when I wake up, I really, like, if I can just take Tylenol, because they tell you this is going to be fine. Like, this is not that big a deal. You're going to be fine. So I was like, perfect. I only want to take Tylenol. If I can just take Tylenol, I don't want to take the hard stuff.
Oh no, the hard stuff's the best stuff.
That was a dumb thought. That was just the dumbest thought, because I'm also a baby, like, very low pain tolerance, zero pain tolerance. Like, I can stub my toe and cry, get a splinter, I'll cry. It was not a fun first week, but again, like, if you care about what you're putting into your body's going to respond well. And I feel like I healed very well, all things considered, it only being 2 months and I feel like I'm 100%.
So did you stick to just using Tylenol that week?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope.
When did you go back? You were like, okay, I need it now.
Oh, immediately. Okay. Give me whatever you need to give me. Take this pain away.
Yeah. No, I think when I had my wisdom teeth taken out, they gave me some nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been. I think that these are the kind of drugs that you get addicted to. So, but I took it and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I've never been more relaxed. I was like, this is why people get addicted to drugs, Jordan. I'm like, okay, don't ever, you can never take that drug again.
Right? Yeah.
No. That's funny, because I declined the Vicodin they prescribed me for having my tonsils removed Vicodin. Or my wisdom teeth. And so they kept telling me, they're like, oh, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. I'm like, I don't want it. And they ended up, it was funny. They're like, oh, well, we can actually give you a concoction of ibuprofen and Tylenol. I'm like, well, what is it? And it's like 2 Tylenol, 3 ibuprofen, and you'll get the same amount of pain relief as a Vicodin and no side effects. And I'm like, well, why would I want the Vicodin?
Right.
So that's what I did.
Why aren't they telling people that? Like,
yeah, they just went straight for the hard stuff, and I never got it.
Oh,
I think they gave me a jar just in case. I
Yeah.
never used it. I just disposed of it.
I didn't realize, like, when I got them out, I was like 18, and it was just what they gave me, and I took it. And listen, I don't have any regrets. It was great.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
I just wouldn't. If you have an addictive personality, I would not take those drugs.
Yeah.
I'd argue everybody does to some extent. It just depends on what it is. For some people, it's drugs, alcohol, smoking, vaping, or working out. I know that runners can get pretty addicted to it, and it's very damaging to their bodies over the long term.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think too, though, I will push back a little bit and say, like, you can have an addictive personality, but make a conscious choice to not do something. Like, there's some stuff that I realized where I was like, man, if I were not a believer and I didn't follow the Lord, I was like, I could actually see myself abusing prescription drugs. Like, I could totally see it. But because I follow the Lord, that's not something that I'm going to do. So, guys, I don't abuse drugs. It's all good. I do love Tylenol, though. That does happen. Yeah. That does happen a lot. I'm not going to lie. That's a whole nother story, though.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to do, if you cannot, your body can't heal if you're not able to truly rest. And if you're in so much pain that you can't rest, your body's not going to heal. So
that's fair.
You know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to.
Well, I try to use Tylenol for things that probably it doesn't work, but I get so desperate because I have other health issues. Yeah. I'm like, well, the Tylenol's got to work. It doesn't work. Yeah. It doesn't change the
placebo effect.
It's also bad for your stomach lining.
I know. Listen, this is an intervention moment for me. Maybe I am taking too much Tylenol.
Like, if I can't have the hard stuff, I'll get the soft drugs.
Yup, that is me. Listen, Tylenol, extra strength, but it's no secret
right there.
It's no secret though. But our manager is my sister, and we do live together. And she got like these Welly, this brand called Welly that like Yeah, and she's like, well, I got this ibuprofen that doesn't have any dyes in it, and I got also this stomach stuff that's like not more natural, but like all the harmful like preservatives, and it smells disgusting. But I did try it, and by the way, it didn't work because I was trying to change my temperature, and fun fact, ibuprofen does not make your temperature go up, so it didn't work. But anyway, okay, so basically I'm not very good at taking drugs, but I'm glad that you got the drugs that you needed, the right ones. Right. It makes more sense. Yeah. You have a breast explant.
Yeah.
I guess to a certain extent, is there anything you think that people should know about breast explants that's not getting talked about, besides what you've already said, generally?
I mean, I think a lot of women are just scared to do it because they're scared of what their body's going to look like afterwards. So I think it's getting to a place and having a support system in place where, one, you have to accept, like, on your own, again, being a believer, like, I know where my worth is. And I've always known that. Like, I've been a believer my whole life, like, as far back as I can remember. But knowing, like, truly, truly knowing and, like, stepping into that faith and knowing, like, my worth is not in what I look like. My worth is not in the size of my boobs. And just because I go from having big boobs to having no boobs, my worth does not change. But because of the unrealistic standards that, women face, it's a really hard place to get to. It's really, because I think even if I go back 7 or 8 years, if someone had told me like all of this, I probably still would have gotten them, because I was not in that same place mentally. So I think, I don't know what gets you to that point, if it's you are so sick that you're able to be like, okay, I just want to feel better. Mm-hmm. But I also believe there's that spiritual component too, where I got that nudge from the Lord that was like, you're a child of God. Like, you are made in my image. Like, you are perfect how you are. But I think, getting to that place is obviously going to be your first step, but then also having that support behind you. Again, like, my husband, super supportive, like, could have cared less if I got him in the first place. Doesn't care one bit that they're not there. Like, that's not what's important to him by any means.
How long have you guys been married?
This May will be 12 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. But then, like, having, like, my girls at the studio, too, like, having that support system in place. And then I've met a ton of women who have gone through the same thing and have made new friends who have been on the same journey. Like, even met a girl who I go to church with who had the same surgery a month later at the same place in Charleston. And we're in North Carolina.
What a nice place to have a surgery, though.
I know, right? I love Charleston. We love Charleston. We honeymooned in Charleston, and we go like probably 3 or 4 times a year. So
wow. Okay, so you're committed.
We were not sad to go back there for that. But I mean, I think, just coming to that place, like coming to that moment with yourself, like truly, truly knowing who you are has nothing to do with what you look like. Having that support system in place and just do it. Like, get to that place. Your health is so much more important than your looks. It is so much more important. Feeling good, so much more important than
Agreed.
looking a certain way. Because I can guarantee you feel better. You're gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna like what you see.
Yeah.
Like, is it
Agreed.
hard? Is it hard to like look different? Absolutely. But I feel like I look healthier. Like, my skin is different. The color of my eyes is different.
So you had did you have what was going on with the skin? Was it
oh gosh, like my eyes were constantly like bloodshot. Like,
are you
which
serious?
I still deal with a little bit of it now. Like, I feel like
it's
that's
not,
slowly going.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't look bloodshot to me.
But they were bad. Like, your red lights here, like
really
bad. Like, so, and almost like a yellow tint too.
It's like jaundice?
I don't know. But then like the dark circles and just, so I mean, like, my skin is brighter, my eyes are brighter. Like, I have a lot of people, like, I've had so many people, like, one lady at church came up to me one Sunday, and I don't know her that well, but she came up and she was like, I see it in your eyes. Like, you just look so good. Like, I see the difference in your eyes. And it, like, I think I got in the car and cried because I was like, oh my gosh.
Now my eyes are now red because I'm crying.
But, like, I mean, the size of your boobs does not matter one bit. Like, you're still beautiful regardless. Like,
Connor, that's for you.
You're still beautiful regardless.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, I don't have any boobs.
Connor's beautiful. Anyway, I'm
curious though. So all those side effects happened with the second set, the upgrade, if you will,
right?
That happened, and you never had any of that beforehand. Was breathing hard something you noticed before as well?
I was in a totally different place before. So I got him in 2013. Got pregnant with the twins in 2014, and it was not an easy pregnancy. My twins were born with cataracts. They found out, like, they saw them in an ultrasound when I was 18 weeks pregnant. So, like, the pregnancy wasn't fun. It was, like, constant ultrasounds. And then when they were born, they had multiple eye surgeries. So I was very distracted and wasn't super active, like, in that time. So I can't say that I didn't have any issues, because I think if I looked back, I could probably connect a couple dots maybe that related to that. But I was so distracted by everything else that I wouldn't have paid a bit of attention if it was. But I mean, it could have been that it was totally fine. And then just the second set, for some reason, it set off something in my body. And
yeah, so the second set, the material was different. And you mentioned that your explant surgeons remarked at them being too large. So did you change the size from the first one as well?
I did go a little bit bigger from the first one.
So you had size and material that
changed,
and then everything was...
because I had more kids, like, and your skin stretches. So I was like, well, go a little bit bigger to fill out the skin, to fill out what's there. But yeah, they were way too big for my body, for sure.
You said you're 5 foot.
I'm 5'2".
And you're pretty petite as it is as well.
Yeah.
So I guess to me it's weird, like, that whoever put in your breast implants didn't say anything, or just almost like just kind of affirmed what you
I can't
wanted.
get over that, because I mean we brought up that what is it, the English guy that's going through the plastic surgery to make himself Korean.
Ollie London.
Yes.
Ollie London, like he does.
seen
And it's just like, why
this.
plastic surgeons just this day just seem to say yes.
Just say yes. They're in
Yeah,
the
we'll
business
do
of
it.
yes.
So I wouldn't say, you remarked earlier that her implant surgeon was greedy. I'm like, no, he wasn't greedy, because he refused to take him out and take the extra money. But I understand the idea of not wanting to hurt his business per
Right.
se, but he could just expand his business.
Right.
But yeah, I don't understand what it is with them and just going bigger. I've heard of that before, where plastic surgeon, has a small petite lady come in and she's like, I want double D. And they're like, okay, we'll do it. And it's like, you should not be bigger than a B.
Right.
Well, even with women that have, like, naturally large breasts, and I mean really, really big, naturally.
Should probably have a reduction.
No, because their back hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for them to run. Like, and so naturally, like, I think one of the more notable people that did, and this was a celebrity, her name was Ariel Winter. She was in, like, Modern Family a long time ago.
Yeah.
But she
was the voice of Sophia. Right?
Oh, was she? I don't know. I never watched it,
Here
but
you go with the kids. Sophia the first. Cartoon.
But she was so young, but her boobs were so big, and she was just, her life was miserable because of it, and so she ended up getting that breast reduction surgery. And
I had a cousin who had to have a reduction in high school.
Yeah,
because all the other women in my family were born with them,
except for you,
except for me.
But I think too, there's also something that I think is an important thing here, is not just being like, okay, I'm okay with my body. It's like, I hate to say this, but if you're in fitness, having small boobs is actually pretty great, because you can do a lot more. They're not, I'm sorry, they're not going up and down, right, you know, they're, everything's really tight, and that means something.
It really does. Good. I got on my treadmill today and I ran. And I think it was a few days ago that I was running, and I'm just starting to run again. Like, I've been kind of scared to do anything that jostles.
Fair.
But like I've started running again, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I can breathe better. Like I can run better now.
Yeah.
It is easier to do this.
Yeah. You're just embracing the positives of the body that God has given you. Right. And it's a lot easier to do that when you're not focusing on wanting the bigger boobs, which I get. Listen, I've been there, but I didn't get breast implants, so that didn't happen.
And I mean, I'm all about people, like, you know, when I got them, I didn't get them like to make my husband happy or to make my husband like be more attracted to me. Like, it was,
because you said he was kind of fine.
He could have cared less. I make him lie to me now and tell me that he's a butt man now. I'm like, now you have to be like, you have to tell me that you like big butts better. I don't have a big butt either, but I'm working on it.
I think he's into you. I think he likes you.
Exactly.
So
he just likes me for me. I totally lost my train of thought on where I was going there.
But basically just the positives and all that stuff. Yeah. I get it. I lose train of thought too. It's all good.
It'll come back. It'll circle back.
Yeah. I don't know. I know you haven't been pregnant for a while, but I heard that pregnancy changes the brain. I heard that does
it
happen.
Does. I'll claim that. There's 7 now. Can I still?
Sure.
Can I still use
I'll let
that?
you do it. Okay. Why not? Why not? Because they're still alive. They're still wreaking havoc in your home, and
that is a fact.
Yeah,
especially with twins.
Twin boys.
Twin boys.
Identical.
And before they were born, like, we picked out their names. They're Taylor and Tucker. Tucker's older, so it should be Tucker and Taylor. But we like just went ahead and was like, oh, TNT. And then they were born, and we were like, why? Why did we go ahead and
gave
just
them that name?
We set ourselves up for that, because they are legit dynamite all the time.
I love it though.
They are wild.
It'll be good though when they get older. I feel like you know, one of them is just gonna absolutely just chill out, just like chill pill.
I feel like that'll be Tucker. I think Tucker will be our chill one. We've always said Taylor is the instigator. Mm-hmm. Tucker will be the one who gets caught because he goes along with it. Mm-hmm. But he's gonna be the one who gets caught.
How does your daughter deal with them? Like, do they get along, or are they're still at that stage where they're enemies still?
No, they've always gotten along pretty well. We're getting to that stage now where, you know, she's preteen, she's 11. Mm-hmm. We go to middle school next year, so we're getting to that point of stay out of my room, like sign on the door, no boys allowed.
It's understandable.
We're getting there.
It's understandable.
But I mean, she's always been great with him. She's always been like a little mommy, like such a good helper, and
that's awesome.
Thankfully, they're close. I mean, they have their moments, like all siblings. They have their moments. But
yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah,
I love it though. It's been a good conversation. I didn't know a lot of those things. I don't know a lot about breast implants, but
not a lot of people do.
I'm surprised to find that I knew more than you did.
I know, like, I know, like, a lot about the symptoms because I have some chronic illness myself, and so that's something that I pay more attention to. But in regards to, like, how you get them out, you know, what happens, like, those kind of details, not a ton. It's just not it's not my spare time activity, because one, I don't have as horrible as it sounds, I don't really have any skin in the game because I don't have breast implants, and so it just doesn't occur to me to look
well, and I think that's just like, even talking about it now, like, who knows if somebody will hear this who has implants and had no clue that, like, oh, I'm experiencing that and that and that too. Like, I wonder if that could be it. And I've had a lot of people reach out who are like, oh my gosh, I thought the same thing. And like, they're reaching out to, like, I have got a couple friends who had implants who are now like going to see my surgeon and talking about getting them out. And
that surgeon is also making some good money too.
Right. I'm like, can I get some sort of like referral
something
from that. I don't know.
Referral fee, yeah.
Right.
But I think there's
You
also
pay me back from everything I paid you.
But I think there's also something important here as well, that I think should be touched on. This is just my opinion, but there are points I think where, especially in the last couple of years, where they say, trust doctors, just trust them, don't question it. And I can tell you one thing is that no one knows your body better than you do. Yeah. So you know when something's off. You know when something's wrong. And so I think it's about not just giving women, because obviously we are talking about breast implants. So I'm sorry, only women. Yeah. So women only get breast implants, giving them the power to be like, no, I know what's going on with my body. This isn't right. You can still do the same thing for men. I don't know what kind of cosmetic surgeries men get, but in regards to other things, whether it's other things, I'm trying not to make it this one too political. Yeah. But like giving them power and be like, no, I know my body well enough.
Advocate for yourself.
Yes, basically, yeah, because there has been a movement that's like only doctors know what's best for you. And listen, some of them do. Like, you have to use some discernment.
Right.
You have to use some discernment, but no one knows your body better than you do. There is a time to trust your gut. Right. And you did that.
Yeah.
So good.
And I think that's the hard part too, because a lot of these doctors will tell you, and even the ones who believe in the breast implant illness will tell you, like, go have an MRI, like, see if there's a rupture, go get this blood work done, go have this test done. And I mean, my original surgeon told me to go have an MRI, to go have the blood work done. I was like, I'm not spending thousands of dollars on all these tests when I can tell you the moment things changed for me. Yeah. I know my body. I literally said to my best friend, I was like, something's not right. Something is not right. So to your point, like when you have that feeling, you have to advocate for yourself, and you have to stick to it. And
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I feel like this has been a really, really good conversation for people that might want to find you, or they have breast implants themselves, or they're curious about it, or they want to know about your studio. Yeah. Where can people find you?
So my personal Instagram, it's XOXOSam, but the O's are zeros. So
we'll go ahead and put it in the description.
Yeah, we'll get it in the description.
X0X0 _Sam. And then our studio is Neighborhood Bar Concord.
Wonderful. And we'll make sure that it's all in the description. But we really appreciate this conversation. This is good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, we've talked about politics so much. We're ready for a break.
Took a big detour there.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Fitness is important, especially with a lot of the stuff that's been coming out, and it is more political with just the way they're going about the whole fat phobia thing. And there was recently a model that came on, and I think she's kind of getting trashed on Twitter because she's so big, her shoes don't fit. Like, they can't fit. Oh. And it's like, you're talking like ankles like this big, and then feet like size 7 in women's. It just doesn't. It's not healthy. Like, she's on a path to dying really early. You can't have that much of a life like that. Right. It's just a hamper, and they're out there celebrating it. They're just celebrating people eating and sitting themselves to death. Right.
It's a hard line, because you want people to embrace body positivity, and you want people to feel good in their own skin, but you also want people to be healthy. Yeah. Like, you want to be healthy for the long term. Right. Like, you need to find a lifestyle that is sustainable long term, and you want to feel good long term. And no, that doesn't mean like you have to go and lose a ton of weight and be in like perfect shape, but to that extent, I do think it has kind of gone the opposite way a little bit. I would agree with that. Too accepting. I don't know if that's the word.
No, I think I understand what you're trying to say, is that, you want people, I think you said something that's very important. It's how I feel. Right. Okay. I think it's not about how you look on the outside. Though the outside can be an indicator of how you feel on the inside, right?
There's a first time.
Oh.
Sorry. Wow. There was audio.
That was great. But it's basically how the outside can inform you on what's going on in the inside. And when you see someone who is clinically...
In his latest tweet, Elon...
Don't you love YouTube autoplay?
You can just mute the tab as well while you're looking. That's true. But if you have someone that's clinically morbidly obese, you know they're not living their fullest life. Like, it's painful because they're out of breath by just walking, you know, and that's no way to live. And I would never want that for them. It has nothing to do with them being in bikini body shape. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with like, you know, I want your life to be long and prosperous, and what you're doing to your body now is literally going to kill you. And the people that are telling you that, yes, you are beautiful because God made you, God made you beautiful. But at the same time, he does want you to take care of your temple. And that's really important. And so there's that balance there. And I understand what you're saying. You're trying to tote that line.
And it's the same as like, even, we'll take my dad, for example. I'm a huge daddy's girl, so this is not to like knock him by any means, but like if I'll go to his house and he is like, has like 2 Mountain Dews while I'm there or something, I'm like, do we really need to drink 2 Mountain Dews right now? Like,
maybe just 1 Mountain Dew. We'll start with the 1 Mountain Dew.
That's just like a teeny tiny example, you know. But like, you're my dad. I want you here for the long haul. Like, I want my kids to grow up with you. Like, I want them to be older. Like, I think I lost my last grandparent when I was in high school. No, that's a lie. I was 24 when my last grandparent died. Like, I feel like that's pretty young to like have no more grandparents around. I don't want my kids to be like, I want my kids to be a lot older. Like, I have friends who still have grandparents that are here, you know? So it's, you know, pushing those healthy lifestyles and those healthy habits because I want you here. I love you so much. Like, I want you here.
That's a completely reasonable, perfectly reasonable want, and you shouldn't. No one, and this is my issue, is that no one should be called fat phobic or say, oh, you're shaming people for saying that. That is an incredibly reasonable thing to say. But that's where it's gotten out of hand, is where like you can't even say that, and like now you're being accused of being hateful. It's like it's like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna challenge you about how much you love that person. If you're just gonna praise,
I love you so much that like I
don't want you to eat yourself to death.
Like, I don't want to see you like this. And it'd be the same way if somebody was anorexic and they're not eating enough and they're not exercising. Like, there are 2 sides to being unhealthy, and those are the 2 extremes.
Yeah, because there's orthorexia as well, and then over exercising, all those things. So it can go
every different way.
It can go both ways. So, you know, I think we kind of touched on the one side of it early in the podcast, and then we've touched on this, and it looks like, oh my. So
yeah, that was the example, because I saw that on Timcast, and
that's hard.
That's one of the models I bring in. It's like, you can't fit into your shoes, and the fact that it's not. I feel like it's less that she's in that state and more so that they're promoting it. And like, this is a good lifestyle. And it's like, she has to know. Like, I'm not physically capable. She probably does
not feel good either.
There's no way that she feels
like she does. She's not in a healthy place. There's no way she feels.
That's I think if she told me that she felt good, like physically healthy good, like I would say, one, she's in denial, or she's lying. Because of the pressure to say that, yeah, I feel good in my body when I actually don't. And it's heartbreaking to me.
Well, I think somebody made a point, as in a different video that actually my wife was showing me, but they were talking about that. Like, look, when it comes to supermodels, it's like, there's a reason why they're considered supermodels or just regular models. It's because they usually are like some ridiculously beautiful standard that the average person doesn't line up to. It's the same for men and women, but for the plus size models that are out there, like that's their whole mantra, is that they are just really, really big. And if they were smaller than that, they may not be able to make it as a supermodel. So their career, their lifestyle is all at stake on top of it, but it's at the expense of their life.
Yeah, which I think is what's so cruel. I think that's what's so cruel, what people are doing to them and exploiting them.
I mean, and I would take it a little step further to like, no, I'm not challenging what you're saying by any means.
You can challenge it.
Yeah, you can.
You're allowed to.
But I'm not challenging it. But I also think plus size these days, or even, I think we're getting away from it now, but like plus size is actually what a normal human is.
Yeah,
what a
there's gonna be
normal
some
person
agreement
is.
there.
Obviously, what we just
If
saw.
they,
If
something that's usually what
I.
I see end up as plus size. Plus size to me should be just, you're a bit thicker.
Yeah.
You're still healthy.
Which
You're
is
still
probably
feeling
the real,
good.
like,
Yeah.
your average everyday
Because you have
person.
to look at like supermodels. Like supermodels, if you look at their diets, they don't have a high calorie intake.
They're not eating.
No, I was trying to be kind about it, but yes, they're not eating. They're doing more liquids. They're doing a lot more cardio.
Right.
It's really unsustainable. The only reason why they can sustain it is because they're making money off of it.
Right.
And that is their life, is to be.
And the same
that
goes
thin.
for fitness models and actors and actresses. You get people like Chris Hemsworth who's playing Thor, and it's like, all right, this is literally your job
He's on roids
to
now.
work
We
out.
all know
He
he's
is
on
now.
roids
I would say
he's so on roids.
I would say since the third Thor movie, he probably is. But first and second, he seemed pretty normal. Henry Cavill seems pretty normal to me, but there's some of them now that like I'm watching, I'm like, that's not possible without steroids.
And then again, like you have to think like some of them just have a totally different body type, totally different metabolism. They can put muscle on better, or they're just naturally very thin.
Ethnicity does make a difference as well.
For sure. For sure. And it's not.
Oh, Christian Bale's transformation from some of his roles from being like Batman to something else where it's like, all right, now I weigh 120 pounds. And it's like, okay, now I'm going to stock up, an extra 60, 80 pounds and weigh around 200. And just like, I mean, that's
good on the body.
No, it's not good on the body. And they've talked about how bad that is on the body. And any of the superhero actors and actresses will talk about just how hard it is to be working out and eating the way that they have to in order to look that way for the role.
Right. Yeah, because then they kind of end up just kind of going back to like a normal body shape.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just...
Yeah, you get those like candid pictures of these people like on the beach, and it's
they look
not
normal.
at all what you see. Like,
no.
They just look normal.
They look normal.
I mean... Yeah.
And that's what
because
needs
they're
to be out there
people.
more.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Chris Hemsworth. I have seen pictures of him on the beach. I'm like, nope, he still
just looks
is
like that.
completely chiseled. I'm like, he defies
just him.
he defies the odds. But for most normal people, besides Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah. There's only a handful of guys like that. Probably Tom Cruise, Terry Crews, Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson's always working out,
and he's on roids. He's so on.
I don't know that he is.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to have this conversation? We don't even have time actually because we have it.
Only because I follow him and he's
do,
like all he does is work out. Like that's part of his job. He's always been like that.
I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm sorry.
When you're making millions and you have somebody who can train you and you can be in the gym for 4 hours a day, then I would hope you would.
I think he's in there for at least 6 hours a day.
I do think
he's just like
in
morning workout at like 4 or 5 a.m. till probably 6 or 7. And then he's like, all right, now I'm just going to pound out this huge breakfast and go do something. And then I'll be back in the afternoon for my afternoon workout. Yeah. I'm going to eat some more. I'm going to go do some more acting. And in the evening, I have another workout. And I'm like, normal people can't do that.
Nope.
I would die.
I'm trying to get that 1 hour in.
Yeah, that's also, I think he is doing that, but I also think he's on steroids. I'm sorry. I think he's on steroids. I can't live with the idea that he's not on steroids because his neck is just, it's too thick. It is too thick. It's not natural. It's not real.
Have you seen Samoans?
Unless he has neck implants, which would be our next topic of conversation, maybe. But no. No, I'm sorry.
I'll have to dig into it. I'm gonna look around and see if he's open about it because like that. The fitness community is pretty open these days about who's using roids, and it's like largely accepted now.
I don't know. I think it goes two ways. But we literally do not have time for this conversation. But I honestly think we should go at it at some point because I disagree with you. I think there is part of the community that's on board with talking about roids, and then there are still a lot of celebrities that still will not talk about it. Yeah. That's just my opinion. But anyway, all right.
Jordan,
thank you guys.
shutting down the fun conversations.
I know I have to. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. Like, this is the fun stuff, but we have to stop. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed our conversation with Sam. You can find all of her info in the description if you want to ask her about her breast explants or if you want to learn more about her studio. We'll make sure that you have that information. Tune in next time. We have some knock on wood crazy good guests. I'm so excited. Connor will kill me if I even say anything, but I'm so excited. So you're not going to want to miss it. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google and
All the places.
every
and
place. That's it. I shouldn't be allowed to do the outro anymore. All right.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think you need to try and remember all of those places.
I just want to see how fast I can do it, you know? Like,
then you need like a list in front of you or something.
no, that's cheating.